there are grander things that we should be considering than the pettiness of everyday life.
Right.
Welcome to Electrified. It's your host, Dylan Loomis. So first up today, looks like emails are going out with invites for Tesla's AI Day coming up 1 week from today. You're invited to attend the event in Palo Alto, California. You'll learn about Tesla's latest developments in AI, full self-driving, Tesla Bot, Dojo, and more. No guests and no plus ones. On that note, Tasmanian found some interesting things for some job postings for upcoming Optimus Tesla robots. Tesla is on a path to build humanoid bipedal robots at scale to automate repetitive and boring tasks. Most importantly, you will see your work repeatedly shipped to and utilized by thousands of humanoid robots within our factories. Pair that with Tesla continuing to hire new positions for the Optimus build-out, and I'm still doing my best to keep my expectations for AI Day, at least when it comes to Optimus, in the basement. Not gonna lie though, I'm pretty excited to see what they have. Next up, the Model Y order page is now officially active in Taiwan. First deliveries are set for Q4 for both the long range and performance variant. And interesting to note that a user on Twitter, longtime Tesla owner, said he got confirmation that these vehicles being shipped to Taiwan will actually be made at Giga Berlin. Now, I can't confirm that report, and I know there are definitely some geopolitical tensions between China and Taiwan. However, Taiwan is right here, Giga Shanghai is right here, and then you have to come all the way over here for Giga Berlin. Next up, Tesla is now countersuing the governmental organization that originally sued Tesla for alleged racial discrimination. In this new suit, Tesla said the California Civil Rights Department violated state rules by filing the lawsuit without seeking public comment or holding a public hearing. The CRD abused its discretion, acted in excess of its statutory power and authority, and failed to proceed in the manner required by law, promulgating and generally applying the rules. The public interest demands the CRD be held accountable for its underground rulemaking in violation of the Administrative Procedures Act. Separately from Reuters, this countersuit by Tesla may allow the company's lawyers to uncover new details about the CRD's practices and its investigation of Tesla through the discovery process, which could bolster its efforts to have the case dismissed. Moving on Twitter, Holmar shared his first experience using the new CCS adapter for Tesla at a Volta DC fast charger that, yes, to date has mostly been funded by advertisements to offer free charging with a 30-minute limit. Volta is really more well known for its level 2 chargers, but yes, clearly they do have some DC fast charging stations as well. However, I wanted to point out I found this email about 2 months ago from Volta saying, "We're writing to let you know that across our network, we're starting to migrate all of our DC fast chargers to a payment model. And at the same time, we'll be dropping the 30-minute charging cap so you can charge for as long as you need, of course, now that people will be paying for it." At first glance, the advertising-free supercharging model is awesome, but then when you really think about it more, anything that's free, people will undoubtedly abuse, just parking there and leaving their cars plugged in for hours and hours. And I do think the advertising model may still have a place at level 2 chargers where the expenses are a lot lower, but remember, these DC fast chargers are much more expensive. Many people were asking what types of speeds you could expect at these Volta DC fast chargers. From everything I picked up, it's between 50 and 100 kilowatts, but if any of you have actually used these, please let us know in the comments. Next up, just a quick note here on the latest analysis from analyst Trip Chowdry. Now look, I love how bullish he is, but his reasoning is just honestly sometimes laughable. I won't waste your time going through all of it, but just one small example. It said, however, he noted on September 1st, several trucks filled with Model Ys began to leave Giga Austin. He attributed this to an increase in car production. This, however, is what I really wanted to point out. He's basically using this analysis to say that in Q4, Tesla could deliver 511,000 units, and this is his breakdown. But big red flags already. He has 60,000 exactly from Berlin and Texas. Remember, this rate that Tesla is expecting to hit 5,000 cars per week out of these factories has been pushed back into Q1, last that we heard. And even initially, the goal was only to hit that rate by the end of the year, not that they were going to sustain that rate for the entirety of Q4. Looking at Troy's latest estimate for Tesla's Q4 out of Berlin and Texas, these bottom two rows, you have about 27,600 for Berlin and about 18,900 for Texas. Less than half of what Trip is expecting. In fairness, for Giga Shanghai Q4, Troy has around 270,000 and about 143,000 coming out of Fremont. So trip could actually be a little low when it comes to Shanghai, but I just wanted to reset expectations for Berlin and Texas if you happen to see this. Moving on, the International Energy Agency came out with an update basically saying that EVs and lighting are the two industries moving the fastest to get us globally toward net zero production by middle of the century. But most other industries are still moving pretty slow with plenty of work to do. Just to highlight the EV portion, the IEA said global sales had doubled in 2021 to represent 9% of the car market. 2022 also expected to see another all-time high for EVs, lifting them to 13% of the total light-duty vehicle sales globally. Previously, the IEA said EV sales hit 6.6 million in 2021, and in the first quarter of this year, EV sales came to 2 million, a 75% increase compared to the first 3 months of 2021. And I won't read all of these to you, but you can take a quick glance to see some of the other industries that are essentially lagging when it comes to these net zero targets by 2050. Next up, you'll have to forgive me for always wanting to share stuff like this, but Elon quote tweeted these images saying Starlink connecting schools in the Amazon. Personally, I just think this is one of the coolest things because for me, I'm so grateful for internet access. It's really obviously changed my life in many ways, but to be able to learn anything at any time, for me as someone who's just naturally always looking to learn something new, is so incredible. And Elon said education is the path out of poverty and internet access enables education. On that note, in a more pressing situation, John Shahidi, the president of Full Send, said he just spoke with Elon. The request to the US government has been made to allow Starlink services in Iran. I don't want to get too far off topic here. If you're not familiar what's going on in Iran, a quick Google search will inform you. Just wanted to share, Iran continues to cut off internet in the evening when protesters are on the streets. If Elon's able to turn Starlink on there, this alone will earn him a Nobel Prize. If he doesn't get it, he would instantly become a hero of the people of Iran. As I was recording, I came across this from Secretary Antony Blinken. We took action today to advance internet freedom and the free flow of information for the Iranian people, Elon said, activating Starlink. Shifting back to EVs, VW has signed a memorandum of understanding to now work on vehicle-to-grid technology. One of the groups signing this MoU was Eli, a VW subsidiary that's managing all activities related to charging and energy for the group in Europe. So this MoU is focusing on a shared vision of integrating electric cars into the electricity system. Of course, this partnership will be focused on using EVs to help stabilize the power grid, and they mention 3 main benefits down here. Renewable energy can be stored, of course, in the EVs. The car can contribute toward grid stability, and the customer can earn additional revenue. The MoU said that the work will focus on these 4 main areas, but honestly, this press release was pretty light in actual detail of what's going to be taking place, but we'll keep an eye on it. Next up, Ford has broken ground on what it hopes will be like a Giga Austin, where in the future in Tennessee, it will build electric pickup trucks and also make batteries at the plant. This $5.6 billion project in Western Tennessee will be called Blue Oval City. By 2025, it's expected to have 6,000 workers building electric pickup trucks and batteries in a joint venture with SK. This same partnership is also set to build 2 battery factories in Kentucky that will employ another 5,000 workers. This facility is the blueprint for Ford's future manufacturing facilities, and it's the first all-new assembly plant that Ford has built since 1969. The battery plant will employ 2,500 workers, and the electric truck assembly part will have another 3,260. Look, personally, I'm not some huge Ford guy. Of course, I'm rooting for all electrification, but as an American, to see this investment by Ford that will produce thousands of jobs, and it's a huge investment for our electric future, I just think it's awesome and really exciting to watch all of this unfold. With that said, nobody said this transition was going to be easy. Back to reality, where Ford has been struggling to get the badges to put on its vehicles. Not only the blue Ford logo, but also the nameplates that specify the model, mainly for the F-Series pickup trucks. Earlier this week, we talked about how Ford was going to have a higher level of unfinished inventory for Q3. Maybe some good news though, these shortages are primarily involving parts other than semiconductors. Moving on, we have another pretty exciting memorandum of understanding being signed between Snow Lake Lithium and LG Energy. The two companies are looking to build the domestic supply chain for the North American EV market. Once again, mostly probably driven by the Inflation Reduction Act, but looking to create one of Canada's first lithium hydroxide processing plants in Centerport, Winnipeg, Manitoba. Snow Lake Lithium will supply LG with lithium over a 10-year period once production starts in 2025. What's cool is this Snow Lake mine is set to be all electric in Lake Manitoba to power 5 million EVs over the next 10 years. And this of course is part of LG's renewed focus to build out an EV supply chain in North America. Operations could indeed scale in the future, as so far Snow Lake has only explored around 1% of the site, and their planned mine will be operated by almost 100% renewable hydroelectric power to ensure the most sustainable lithium manufacturing approach. Moving on, we have the chorus of opposition against the Inflation Reduction Act seemingly singing louder by the day. Now we have China joining in on the criticism, threatening unspecified action if needed to protect its interests from a law that says the IRA is discriminatory. Authorities are now saying that the IRA is ruling out tax breaks for vehicles assembled abroad that discriminates against similar imported goods and is a suspected breach of the World Trade Organization principles. A spokesperson of the Ministry of Commerce is saying China will take measures to safeguard its legal interests when necessary. A senior official in Seoul has called the US rules a betrayal, and some of these nations' suppliers are now hoping to be offered some type of exemption. Add to the list, we have people in the EU saying they'll take the necessary steps to defend its interests. And finally, China's ambassador to the US, Qin Gang, has warned against the potential risks of trying to cut China out of the EV chain, saying the interests of both nations are intertwined. At this point, it's anyone's guess what will actually come of this, how much of it is bluffing and political posturing versus a preamble to what's actually going to happen. Either way though, we're watching. Next up, I just had to share this real quick. If you know this meme, you will probably think this is pretty funny. When I saw it last night, I was actually LOLing, so I wanted to pass it along. Here we have the 50th supercharger being installed in Japan, so it's good to see some EV growth in the region. Next up, we have an update on LinkedIn at Arroyo Solar in New Mexico. That's apparently a new Tesla Megapack 2 battery energy storage system. Doing some quick math, this row has 36 megapacks and there's 3 rows, so that's potentially 108 Tesla Megapacks. If it is the latest updated version, that could be 3.9 megawatt hours per pack, so around 421 megawatt hours of battery energy storage. And last up for today, who doesn't love watching Slave Popopski's awesome 3D renderings of Tesla and SpaceX stuff? So hope you guys have a wonderful and a safe weekend. Please like the video if you did, and a huge thank you to all of my Patreon supporters.